People rolling in. Well, Brady, let's do it, man. Let's hop into this deal.
All right, guys. Well, everyone, again, my name is Brady Hull. I'm the general manager of 1310 KFKA. I host a local sports talk show, 12 to 2, every Monday through Friday. It's called The Hull Show, and we've had Coach on several times. So we've perfected our knock-knock jokes back and forth, I think. So we're ready to rock and roll with that. But I'm honored to be a part of this. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to a lot of big things to come, really. But Coach Smiley wanted to put this together, this Roundball virtual happy hour, and we're thrilled that we could get so many people involved here today. And Coach really wanted to get into the current goings on for UNC basketball, and then what that future might looks like too. So I'm pumped about that, folks. If you have questions, if you're thinking of a few questions you want to get out there to Coach about the program going forward, then you can use the chat box. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that, but you can see it kind of at the bottom of your screen there. Click the chat box, start typing something in, and at the end of the event, we'll try to get to as many of those as possible. What we don't get to, I'm sure Coach will be ready to get that pin out and answer some of those questions a little bit later on too. So we're going to try to get to as many questions, but really the point is today is to talk about the current state of the program, look at some of the past successes as well, and just kind of get excited about what's to come for the University of Northern Colorado. So Coach, the 20th UNC head men's basketball coach, Coach Steve Smiley, it's an honor to continue to work with you, Coach, and your experience, it speaks for itself, what you did with Weber State, and of course, all of your successes in Sheridan. We're pumped to get this thing going. So Coach Smiley, what are your initial thoughts as we start this thing off?
Yeah, no, I just really appreciate everyone taking the time to hop onto this happy hour. Obviously with the coronavirus and the fact that we have to do everything virtually right now, it's just something where, you get a job. It's been 8 weeks since I've even been in the office. And, as we talk to, the foundation and to our administration, one of the things that's so good about UNC and about our basketball program is the fact that we have so much great local support. And one of the things that we wanted to do is just get everyone together. And I'm not sure how many teams or programs have really tried this format yet, but over the past several weeks, I know with my guys, with our team, we've used so many Zooms, and it's the best way for us to communicate. So we just want to get everyone together. Talk about the state of the program, talk about our staff, recruits, and just talk basketball a little bit with the people that really kind of fuel what we do behind the scenes. So I do really appreciate everyone hopping on to the call today, and we should have a good time with it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a lot of the special guests too. We're going to talk to Jordan Davis. We'll hear from him. We'll hear from Jonah Radabaugh, and Bodie Hume's out there as well. So we're looking forward to that. At this time, we would like to welcome President of the University of Northern Colorado, Andy Feinstein. Andy, it's an honor to have you here, of course, and I'm glad you survived the bike ride too. So it's good to get you back rolling here.
Thanks, Brady. Thanks for having me on and just being a part of this. I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of Coach Smiley and the team. Looking forward to watching some basketball coming up this year. I know it's been a wild ride the last couple of months at UNC. I'm so proud of our faculty and staff for what we did to actually, transition our entire university to an online instructional modality in just a few days. I know that our men's basketball team, our student athletes, finished strong this semester. Proud of them. Looking forward to hearing from them as well on this call. I also want to thank all of you on the call as well, the donors, the community members who really, make men's basketball at UNC so special. So thanks for being on this call. Thanks for being here, and I'm looking forward to hearing from Coach and others about what they got planned for this year.
Certainly. And Andy, it's a strange time for all of us, right? We all have our challenges, and we're going to get into a little bit about that on the basketball side. But it seems like every day there's a little bit of a new challenge, and certainly the case as we look across the board here in our Northern Colorado community.
And I'm so excited to see Jordan Davis on the call too. I've been waiting to see how he's doing. I want to hear what Europe's been like for him over the last year. Just excited to see that he's on the call too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're thrilled to have you on, and thanks for all your interviews that you do with us on 1310 KFKA as well. We love having you on the programs.
I've got one Friday morning.
Oh, wow. All right. See, yeah, we're getting you going again. Well, again, thank you so much for all you do and all you do at the University of Northern Colorado and this community. Coach, we'll kind of transition into this and some questions for you. Coach Steve Smiley, now I've had you on my program several times, and I got to say thank you to UNC first here, because I tell you, as a sports talk show host, there's not a lot of games that I get to talk about now, so I'm making up a lot of things, which is normal anyway, but the news of Coach Smiley getting the job and everything, I mean, man, that was content for weeks for me. So thank you guys so much. The timing was perfect for me.
Absolutely.
Coach, obviously it's a challenge, anytime you transition to a job, you're taking over this job. It's a great job. There's a lot of success that this basketball program has achieved over the last few years. So obviously there's that period, there's that transition process, but here we are in this brand new time that none of us really know how to navigate through. Talk to us a little bit about the challenges, not just to transition to that head coach spot for UNC, but the challenges that we're all kind of facing. We're doing Zoom meetings more. We're all kind of communicating a lot more via computer and phone.
Yeah, I think that's been the biggest challenge, Brady, just in the sense of, big picture. How do you stay connected to your staff? How do you stay connected to your players? How do you stay connected to the community? Getting the job itself, there's so many things on a task list. And as you know, I'm a big list guy. So as you go down the list, it grows and grows as you get the job. But the biggest thing has been, since I got the job, I haven't even been to the office in the last 8 weeks. I haven't seen the team. When the coronavirus hit, we were in Boise, Idaho. And the second that we landed back, in Denver and got back to Greeley, our guys were gone. It was a Friday. They were on spring break after that, and they have not been back to campus since. Mm-hmm. So you've got all those things, and then right at that time is when everything happened with the change in the job, and so now you've got to hire a staff over the phone. You've got to try to retain your current players, which is the most important thing, and then you've got to recruit. And the recruiting has been, wild in and of itself. I joke a lot with other coaches in the profession and say, I finally got my first Division I head coaching job, and it's nothing like signing your first class over YouTube. That is not what you want to do, but that is the reality of the situation. So it's been a challenge that way. Obviously, it's been a lot easier. We've got a lot of returning guys. We've got 9 guys that are back. The big bulk of the team is back, and so that was a huge piece for us and for me to have those guys coming back. And then building the staff has been a pretty seamless transition, to be honest with you. And so now as we move forward, it's just really a matter of, as we all try to navigate, the coronavirus and, what that means in terms of, schedule going forward and budget and all the issues, online classes, all the questions, when do our guys get to come back for the summertime, if ever? We just don't know. So those have been the challenges right now, is just trying to navigate, the current situation that everyone in the world's dealing with.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I want to remind folks tuning in, donors, and again, thank you so much. If you have questions for Coach, you have questions about this program going forward, feel free to use the chat box down at the bottom with the little text message logo there. I think I'm describing it right. Yeah, you go there and you can type in your questions or any thoughts on this program, and we'll do our best to get to as many of those as we wrap up to tonight's event too. Coach, as we talked about your past success, I mean, you got to use portions of that building you up for this. And again, maybe nothing can prepare you for the current state of things, but you're pretty darn successful at your past job. So that's got to bode well, including your time with the University of Northern Colorado. How do you use all of those jobs and kind of compacting those to build you up for the coach that you need to be for this university?
Yeah, I think that all of your experiences kind of lead to where you're at, and for better or worse. And as you go through in the coaching profession, as you kind of go through your own path. For me, I've been very lucky. I've been lucky to, play for actually, UNC alum, the former Don Meyer. I mean, he was the one that really kind of got me on the coaching path, and I didn't even know it at the time when I was playing for him. That was the start of it. And then I got lucky so many times in my career. Like, I look back. In my first job, I was doing my MBA down in Texas, and one of my former assistant coaches just got his first head job, and that assistant job paid $7,000. And so he called and he said, "Hey, man, I want you to be my head assistant." I said, "Great. What does it pay?" He said, $7,000. And so, probably because I had no experience, that probably limited the pool of applicants that he wanted to bring in. But now his name's Paul Saylor. He's the head coach at North Dakota. And that was a lucky break. And then just the lucky breaks throughout time to be a head college coach at the age of 27 at Sheridan College and to get my feet wet there for 6 years. And then the lucky break to get to Weber State with Randy Ray. And then obviously with Coach Linder when this job opened up here and the fact that, we knew each other all the way back to the childhood days and we came in together. That there's a lot of luck involved in this, and you need a little bit of luck to show that you do have ability.
Yeah. Well, and you've had great success connecting, right, with these student athletes, and that's so critical when you're trying to build a program. I mean, the list goes on and on of players that you were involved with. I mean, even right here at UNC, I mean, talking about some of these great players we're getting ready to talk to a little bit later on, Jordan Davis, Jonah Radabaugh. You look at Bodie Hume. Bodie Hume I had on a few weeks ago, and obviously he talks about your relationship already and why that was so important for him as he's continuing to progress as a basketball player. Can you talk to us about that connection? And you do have a knack for that, being able to find that connection with really just tremendous, great student athletes.
Well, I think it's all about relationships, not to sound, corny, but, I was on a Zoom yesterday with the head coach at a place in Europe called CSKA Moscow, and they actually won the EuroLeague last year. They're one of the best teams in the world. And their starting center is Joel Bollenboy. And Joel Bollenboy, for those of us that follow Big Sky basketball, he was our big man at Weber State when I was there, and we went to March Madness. And I still stay in touch with Joel 5 years later. I mean, I consider him, at this point in time now that he's an adult and professional, I consider him a friend. And so we're watching that Zoom, and I'm texting Joel and messing with him. And I think it's just more so than it's a lot more where it's not just a transactional relationship player-coach, but it goes a lot further behind that. I see Jonah on the call, and Jonah and I, we've spent probably 4 or 5 hours over the past 3 weeks, helping him out, with his agent process. And that's the stuff that really matters, that it's not, well, sorry, Jonah, your eligibility is over, man, go figure it out. That's not what this thing's about. So I think, for me, it's just been a matter of it's important for me to stay in touch with our former players and coaches and the people that have helped us out along the way. And I guess that definitely helps out where guys want to stick around, guys want to play for you, and guys want to play hard for you.
Yeah, it's so critical, right? As you're building that program up, it's not just how many times do we say this? It's not just about the on the floor, the X's and O's, so to speak. There's so much more that goes into it, the relationship building side of it. Again, reminding folks, looks like we're having some great questions coming in on the chat line there too. So we'll try to get to as many of those as absolutely possible at the end of this. At this time, Coach, we thought it would be appropriate, and again, we're talking to so many great donors that make what we all know and love here in our community possible. So without them, I mean, a lot of this buildup is just not possible. So there was a couple of key factors that we really wanted to look at going forward that are going to be some hurdles that we're looking to climb here as this program looks to grow.
Yeah. So are we at the point, Brady, where we're kind of talking about all okay. So that's good. That's a good segue, Brady. So, basically as I've learned more about how the round ball works and every year, obviously, the program always needs help. There's no doubt about it, whether you're here or whether you're at a junior college, whether you're in the NBA. I mean, every program needs help no matter where you're at. So as I've kind of learned more about it, and this is where we'll kind of put some of these pictures up, I think, hopefully this works with the technology, but last year, learning the round ball, the big ask last year was that, we were looking for funds for the Cancun Challenge, which was a big tournament we were at. And then we were also looking for funds for the locker room. So we kind of pulled some pictures together. So as you can see, hopefully you see it on your screen, the Cancun Challenge was a very special event for us. And the booster funds helped make that happen, the round ball funds. One, because it gave us the opportunity to play some great early season games. We played at Northern Iowa, which ended up being a top 25, top 50 team. And we almost beat them. We lost them in overtime. Then we got to go to West Virginia. And we lost to West Virginia by 8. And when you play teams that are that caliber, top 10, top 20 teams, and you play them well, the confidence you get for the rest of the season, I think that tournament was kind of the turning point for us early in the year. Then in Cancun, which that picture there, our first game was against Boston University, and we beat Boston University by almost 30 points. Well, they ended up winning the Patriot League, and they would have probably gone to March Madness. We lost in the championship to Gardner-Webb. We dug ourselves a real big hole, but the experience on the court was tremendous. Now the next picture, I think, as it goes, more than just basketball, is that right there where you've got guys that have that that ability to kind of bond and be together. And you look at every year, every team's a new team. And so new roles, new relationships, and to have an early season tournament like that was a great thing last year for our guys. So that was one big thing, is to help with that Cancun trip. The other big one, if we go to the next picture, and I'm going to roll through these quick so we can get to the questions, is the locker room. And I know that's not the most beautiful picture, but that's the point of the picture, is that, you know, our locker room, one of the big things last year was raising some more funds for the locker room. And what we're going to do, and we're in the final phases of doing some costing out. We have the funds now to, one, as you can see, build the doors into our wood lockers. We're going to do a new speaker system in there. And we don't have, you know, $4 million to upgrade the locker room, but we have enough to work with our guys where we're going to make that thing look a lot better. So that was for last year, and that really helped out. And now we're going to see the fruits of that labor. Now, as we move into this year, you know, this is the biggest thing. As we all know, we're hitting the coronavirus, and it's scary for all of us. I know, I know Darren Dunn's on the call, and I said, I don't envy your job right now, and obviously President Feinstein as well. These are tough times. But, you know, for us, the first ask obviously would probably be just the biggest picture of the budget. And in the budget, you know, you've got gear, you've got travel, but the picture on the right, was taken yesterday by myself and Coach Klump. We got into the gym for our 2-hour window. That's our nutrition station in our locker room. Now, Division I, you're able to do a bunch of stuff with the snack shack, through your weight room, through your strength conditioning program, which really helps. But also, we are allowed to put into our locker room a lot of extra nutritional food, which right now it's empty because there's no one here on campus. But when you look at, you know, you have to start cutting corners with budgets. One thing we do not want to cut is nutrition, whether that's here on campus in the locker room or whether that's just where we eat on the road. As I introduce my staff in a few minutes, I've got a couple, you know, former junior college coaches, and I'm a former junior college coach myself. And at that level, you know, a pregame meal is a 6-inch Subway and a soup, and a postgame meal is getting 2 guys per pizza and getting 4 pieces of Domino's pizza. That is not how we want to eat and operate. So as we kind of look at just the way that we're having budget implications, we want to, you know, continue to get our guys eating the right way. I look at a guy like Matt Johnson, who when Matt Johnson came here 3 years ago now, he was a good player, but he weighed 145 pounds. And that's no exaggeration, which my 12-year-old son weighs almost that much right now, so it blows my mind how skinny Matt was. Well, Matt really worked at it. Now Matt's 188 pounds. And for those of you that, you know, obviously watched our games this year, Matt was a starter. He started every single game for us as a sophomore. Matt weighs almost 190 pounds of pure muscle. And the nutrition side of it's a big piece of that. So that's a big thing for us. Now, the next picture is in terms of equipment. So one thing we're working on for next year, and this is a shooting machine. It's called the Gun. There's a couple of different companies. But one thing we're working on with women's basketball is we need to get one more of those. We have a phenomenal practice gym, which a lot of teams in the Big Sky do not have. It's one of the competitive advantages that UNC has, is a practice gym that's awesome. But when you look at it, you know, sometimes guys want to get back to the gym at 9 o'clock at night. They got swipe access. They go in there. Maybe the assistants are recruiting at that point in time. And so when you get into there, the best way for them to get better is to hop on a shooting machine. And with us and the women's basketball team sharing that space, and if you only have one of those shooting machines, well, if there's one player on there 5 minutes earlier, you don't have that machine. So with us and the women's basketball team, we're working on getting a second machine, which those booster funds will help out for that for sure. So that's the next thing we're working on. This is actually going pretty smooth. Okay, so the next one, it's like, okay, what's this random picture, Coach Smiley, with these people in Amsterdam? So this is really important. So right now, in terms of recruiting, as we all know, our focus, first of all, is putting the fence around the state of Colorado. Guys like Jonah, guys like Bodie Hume, Sam Maston, Matt Johnson. That's the first goal, is to build up with in-state kids. That's not going to change. But if you look at our roster over the years too, you've got big guys like Kai Edwards, and that's actually Kai Edwards' mom and dad. You've got Kai Edwards from Amsterdam. You've got Kurja Cooch right now from Canada, and now you have Theo Hughes coming in from England. One thing that's, I won't say it's virtually impossible, but it's really, really hard, is to get good, young American post players. So one market that you've got to try to get good post players if we're going to continue to recruit young bigs is internationally. And just the way that we're set up, we have to use non-institutional money for international recruiting. So this is a true, really big ask, because it helps us out tremendously to get these players from overseas. So you've got the picture of Kai's mom and dad. You know, we didn't recruit Kai. And so it was very important for us. I was over in Europe 2 years ago. It was when this picture was 6 countries in 5 days. It's not a vacation. It's a lot of work. But Kai's mom and dad, that's when I was able to kind of really get to know them. And we all know how Kai turned out in terms of being the Big Sky sixth man of the year this year. So the next pictures, this is just, this is the UNC Bear this is Kai's car in Europe, in Amsterdam. So his mom slapped the UNC decal on his car. That is the food that Kai's mom cooked for me on that trip. And those types of relationships, that's, I think, again, why our players, they like playing for us. They trust us. We can coach them hard because, again, they know it's not just a transactional player-coach relationship, but it's deeper than that. So that's Kai. Now the next one, okay, so on the left side of your screen, hopefully, that is Koontz' mom. So this was amazing. So Koontz, 2 years ago, we needed to sign one more player. We needed a big guy. We couldn't find one. We got really lucky that we heard about this Canadian kid right before the end of official visits, and we flew him out. And his high school coach actually paid his own way to fly out with him, and he came out. He eventually signed. We never met his family. So last fall, when I was the international recruiting guy, which will now be Dorian Green. So last fall, when I did a 6-day trip in Canada recruiting young kids, one of my goals was to meet Koor's family and really tighten that down. And so Koor's mom, she was so excited. They're from South Sudan. You can see she dressed me in the tribal gear, and she took me to her favorite restaurant to eat, traditional homemade South Sudanese food, which was an amazing experience. So fast forward, obviously we have a change in coaching staff. If I don't have that relationship with his mom, it's probably very easy for him to look at maybe transferring. And his mom calls me at least once a week, super lady. She calls me her friend. We talk all the time. We never talk about basketball. And I think that's a big thing there too. And then the last picture, that's our big guy, our big 7-footer, Theo Hughes. If we couldn't bring Theo Hughes to campus on his official visit, which that's where that picture's from, him and his mom and his dad, we would never get Theo Hughes. Theo Hughes' dad, his favorite author is James Michener. So when he came in, he wanted to get involved in the library. And so when he came on his visit, we got special permission for his dad to get down there with our librarians. And that was a big thing on his visit, which we didn't even know going into it. But if we can't, go out to see kids and they can't come in here in terms of visits, we just can't get them. And obviously right now with the coronavirus, we have no idea in terms of when the actual travel is going to come. But when we are allowed to go back out, it's a big market to try to find those special players. Kai was a great player. Koontz has a chance to be the best big in the Big Sky for the next 2 years. And we couldn't get him otherwise. So that's kind of the deal with international recruiting. And the last kind of idea, which is not a picture, is just that for staffing too. And I think I'll probably introduce my staff next, but one of our positions is fully privately funded as a part-time position, which was Brad Klump this year. Now he's been promoted to our director of ops, but that position has, I think, helped us. It was a big thing for Coach Leonard too, to get that spot, just to get us on level playing field with other Division I schools. And that's been a huge deal. And that's a position that Brett Klopfel will fill next year. So that's kind of the idea right there, Brady.
Yeah, and obviously athletic director Darren Dunn even mentioned too, I saw the chat line, recruiting. I mean, I've asked you several times, I always ask coaches that the recruiting process, I don't understand it, I don't get it. There's so much that goes with it. So it's so important to be able to have so many tools at your disposal as a coach. You talk about the equipment needs. I mean, we are promoting student athletes to work harder. I mean, if they have that equipment available to them later at night, as you said, 9 o'clock at night, they're in there working. And if we give them more of those opportunities to do so, it's only going to help that process, help that program continue to grow. On the staffing side of it, Coach, maybe you could just go into briefly here, Director of Player Development. Talk to us a little bit more about that position too, because it's a necessity when you any successful program. You really need to have that position sharpened up.
Yeah, so that's the position that Brad Klump had this year before he just got promoted to Director of Basketball Operations. But Director of Player Development helps out in so many ways. Helps out with video. I know right now, even as our guys are home with this Corona thing, one thing we're allowed to do is work on film with them. And Brett Klopfel has been the engine behind that in terms of being able to build up specific edits for our guys, NBA comparisons, their own clips. That's just one thing that he does, but all the video behind the scenes that he does have been huge. In terms of scouting preparation, being the advanced scout for all of our assistant coaches, that's a big part of the position as well. There's so many things that go into it, Brady, but I think for us, when you don't have as much staffing, obviously, there's just so many things to do at this level that the load gets bigger and bigger. And then you can't, whether you're the head coach or the assistant coaches, you can't operate to your full, capacity because there's so many things to do. So director of player development does a lot of things. It's not an on-the-floor position. The head coach and the 3 assistant coaches are the only coaches at Division I that are allowed to be on the floor in terms of working guys out or on practice. But there's so many things behind the scenes that really, keep this thing running.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a perfect time, Coach. Let's talk about that staff, because we know as you progress and build, you got to have that staff behind you. And I know a lot of folks are excited about this group of guys.
Yeah, I'm going to introduce the staff. I'm going to go through it quick because I know everyone's itching to hear, Jordan Davison, Jonah, and Bodie. But I definitely want to introduce the staff and let people know what's going on. So first of all, our athletic trainer, Maddie Beal, who's been with us now. And I don't know if she can unmute or not with the technology, but I see her waving there. Maddie, can you talk? Can you do a quick intro?
Yeah, hi. I'm Maddie. I'm the athletic trainer for the men's basketball team here at UNC. Basically, my job is to just keep them healthy and keep them on the court and keep them playing all year round. And I just want to thank you guys personally, because you don't know this, but with your help and your funding, it's actually helped the guys stay on the court because we were able to get them in ankle braces this year for the first year. And I'm happy to report that no one lost a game due to an ankle sprain.
That's a good point. And the guys get so frustrated with him. And, we could have a 30-minute talk with Jonah, because Jonah's been a guy that hurt his ankles, and now he probably swears by him. But as we were talking to our guys, like, hey, what else do you want for next year if we can get the money? The one thing that says, can we get one more round of ankle braces? That was Kurjakuch's one request. So that's Maddie. So then the next position, Director of Player Development, which we just talked about, that'll be Brett Klofel. I see Brett on the line. Brett, can you say hi real quick?
Appreciate you coming. This will be my second year on the staff. I volunteered last year and am thankful Coach Smiley has asked me to come back, and really excited to be a part of the transition and also what he's going to do. So just great to see a lot of support and some familiar faces, and hopefully look forward to seeing you in the arena next season.
So then we got Brad Klump, who was the Director of Player Development, and we promoted Brad. He did a great job. He's been here, I think, for about 9 years. He was a student. He got his master's here. He volunteered. He was a student assistant coach. He was a part-time coach. He has paid his dues. So Brad Klump is going to be our new Director of Basketball Operations. Brad, are you around?
Hey, guys. Name's Brad Klump. This will be my 4th year with the program. I think my 6th year being a Bear. So like Coach Smiley said, I've been around. Greeley's a great place. The basketball program here has been really special, and I'm looking forward to have the opportunity to continue that tradition, and looking forward to, meeting with more of you guys and getting to know you a little bit better. So.
Okay, so then we've got our assistant coaches. I'll start with the one that you know the best. Coach Dorian Green, I was so grateful that he stayed on with the staff as we had the transition. We all know Dorian. We know he's a great player at CSU. Last year was his first year here with us. Did a great job, and he's going to get more and more responsibility, because I have a lot of belief in what Dorian's doing. So go ahead, Dorian.
Yeah, like Coach said, man, obviously it's great to see you guys. Wish we could be doing this in person, so hopefully and in the near future we can. But I'm excited, going into year 2. When Coach Smiley asked me to stay on, it was a no-brainer for me, just because of how much I believe in him and how much he's helped me, and just in the last year, in my first year as an assistant coach. So I'm excited. Obviously, I'm a Colorado State alum, so being back in Colorado for me was really special to kind of come back and be in the area. So I'm excited just to continue to grow the program and see where this goes, and continue to kind of keep winning some games. It's been a lot of fun this last year. So excited for the future, and excited for you guys to be a part of it and continue to grow the program.
Okay, 2 guys left. So the next guy has not been announced yet. It'll happen in the near future as we kind of navigate COVID and all the different stuff going on. But Coach Corey Ferringer, are you around?
Yeah, man, glad to be here. My name is Corey Ferringer. Honored to be a Bear. Had a relationship with Coach Smiley now for over a decade, and so there's not many people in the basketball world that I know better or trust more than Coach Smiley. So I'm very thankful to be a part of the coaching staff, as well as with Coach Reed, who I've known for a long time as well. I'm from the plains of Northeast Colorado, Sterling. Bodie and I share a hometown together. His name's getting a little bit bigger than mine, so I'm going to have to continue to keep him humble, right? Known Bodie since he was learning to tie his shoes and before he had a jump shot. Also really familiar with Trent Harris, as he was one of my kids at Western Nebraska, where I've been at the last 4 years. Just really thankful right now we're doing home shopping, home selling, and look forward to arriving in Greeley hopefully sometime in July. A lot of backyard pride from growing up in Sterling and knowing a lot about Greeley and the history of Northern Colorado basketball.
Okay, good job, Corey. And then my last guy, Coach Reed. Coach Reed and I were college teammates. Many years ago, and he was the head coach. I should have told you guys, Corey's the head coach at Western Nebraska. He's considered one of the top 2, 3, 4 junior college coaches in the entire country. I mean, he is highly regarded. And then Coach Reed, our last guy, college teammates, one of my best friends. He was in my wedding, and he stepped down as the head coach at Chadron State College, a Division II school in the RMAC, to be an assistant. So I mean, that was a big thing for us as well. So Coach Reed, are you around anywhere?
Hey, I just can't talk about how blessed I am to have a chance to be on staff and be part of Northern Colorado. I'm a Colorado guy, born and raised. I grew up on the other side of the mountain in a small farm town called Olathe, and was fortunate to meet my wife playing junior college basketball, whom I've been married to now for 18 years. And she's got her master's degree from UNC, and I've got 2 beautiful kids that are 16 and 14, and we're excited to bring our family to the Greeley area and just be part of everything, and got some head coaching experience. But I'm really excited to be able to serve our staff, serve our kids, and at the end of the day, I love Steve Smiley. I love his family. I love Nikki, Madden, Avery, and then I seen Tim and Claudia on here. I've known them a long time. Just there's not better people than Steve Smiley and his family, and so I just feel blessed and honored to have a chance to be part of the Bears, and I look forward to helping the Bears continue to be successful both on and off the court. So Brady, that's the crew, Brady.
Man, that's a lot of basketball knowledge right there. I mean, we could learn a lot from those guys, and I tell you what, Coach, we're right on time too. So it's like perfect. We couldn't have drawn this up any better. Let's get into I see the questions coming in. Obviously we're excited about the staff. Can't wait to see what you guys can do. But a lot of these fans, they want to know also about these returning players. Let's get into that a bit.
Well, we'll push through these guys quick so we can get to the guest speakers. But returning players, one of the best parts about where we're at, and one of the most exciting things for me, is that 9 returning players. Which is a lot. That's a lot of players. When I got the job and with our players having faith in me and staying, Division I basketball is a culture of transferring and always looking for the grass greener on the other side. And I think part of the reason these guys stay is because we've been successful and we've proven that we can win at a high level here. But having 9 returning players, obviously you've got the familiar ones: Bodie Hume, Sam Aston, Rod McCobb. Look at my notes here, so I don't forget anybody. Matt Johnson. Obviously, you've talked about Kurja Cooch. Trey Smoots, who was a freshman, did some good things. And then Roy Grigsby, who, as a freshman walk-on, did some good things. And he might have a chance to do some more this year if he continues to get better. So 7 guys that played this year. And then 2 more guys that didn't play this year but part of the program as redshirts. One, Greg Bowie, who was a Division I transfer from UTRGV, Texas Rio Grande Valley. Very good player, very talented player. He's going to have 2 years left with us, and he'll be kind of like a shooting guard, can really score. He'll help kind of, with the load of Jonah's scoring and Trent Harris's scoring. And then Malcolm Little, who was a redshirt freshman this year from California, and put a lot of work into his game as well. And actually, Malcolm was out here 2 days ago moving from the dorm to a house, so I got a chance to at least see Malcolm quickly. And I'm not so sure he might have grown a little bit more. But those 9 returners. And then in terms of the rest of the team, as I just kind of go right into the recruiting part, 2 kids signed from the fall that we probably already heard about. Bryce Kennedy from Texas had a great year. Was actually the MVP of one of the biggest districts in the Dallas area, which is really impressive. And then Theo Hughes, the big guy we saw the picture of earlier, 3rd-ranked player in the entire United Kingdom, and we're really excited about what Theo can bring. And from that point, Brady, that's where the recruiting's come into play. And we've signed 3 kids in the spring period, all over video. Jamel Melvin is 6'9", 6'10", kind of a 5'4", all the way out from Washington, D.C. He was a kid that luckily was on our radar before this change in leadership happened. And so we had a little bit of a leg up when I got the job, and we knew we wanted to get a big player. So, he's a guy that had 7 Division I offers. He visited 2 schools officially in the fall. And then when Corona hit and no one could visit anywhere, we just luckily, I think, we're at the right place at the right time, had the right people out there kind of helping push him along. And then Marquis English, who was the former 5A Kansas Player of the Year. He was a Division I commit in our league at Idaho State out of high school. Their head coach got fired at the time 1 year ago, so he went the junior college route for 1 year. at Butler in Kansas, had a great year. And so he'll have 3 years left, which is not normal for junior college kids. That's a really good deal for us. And then Dalen Koontz, which people have probably heard about locally, University of Colorado transfer from the Pac-12. One of the best players in the state. His class, him, Bodie, Sam were all club teammates. And we were really excited to get Dalen Koontz as well. And then Jalen Page from Fairview High School will be a preferred walk-on. And then we'll announce one more preferred walk-on in the coming future. But the roster is all the way settled out now.
Yeah, and exciting. I know it's a lot of work going into that leads you up to where you're prepared when everything kind of took us all by storm. All that work leading up to it was absolutely essential for what you guys are doing. Coach, behind me, I don't know if you can see this. There's a ball behind me. It's a white ball. It was signed by Jordan Davis. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I know talent, and I'm thinking these guys are going to be amazing basketball players down the road. So I'm thinking I got to get some signs here. So Jordan Davis, an alumni success. We have Jordan somewhere out there, right? We've got Jordan hanging out there. We wanted to talk to him at some point. But what a success story he's been throughout his career. And of course, last year on the Summer League with the Denver Nuggets too. And then talk a little bit, if we can, about his success in Europe last year overseas.
JD, you on there?
I'm doing good. I had to go do some daddy duties. I had to go pick up some toys earlier.
Before you step on them, right? That's what happens to be at least 30 times a day.
Yeah, I guess my daughter was real adamant that she had to go get some new Frozen toys. So earlier when I had joined the call, I was at Walmart.
And talk to us a little bit about your experience out there. Obviously, what we did, Maxi Manresa, and your time in Germany as well. But also, I think a lot of fans want to know about your experience last year in Summer League with the Denver Nuggets.
Start with Summer League. I enjoyed it. Just the entire process, just being with those guys, just being around just high-level guys, whether it was, being in a locker room with NBA guys, you had guys like Will Barton or, Mason Plumlee will still come to the locker room and work out, or Jamal Murray was there working out here and there. And then you still had the young guys like Bull, he was working out. Michael Porter, he was doing his workouts, and he was practicing before he got hurt. So you still was there with still guys on the roster. So just picking their brain, just being in a room with them, it just made you even work harder. So just being able to just, be impacted by those guys, just ask questions. And I'm a guy, because I wanna be there one day, and I want to be a part of that. Just being there was enough for me, and just being able to compete with those guys. Every day was a battle, and I definitely feel like it allowed me to pick my game up and take my abilities to another level. Especially, the first day after the draft, I flew back to Denver, and when I got off the plane, I went and shot. And when I went and shot, I seen Michael there shooting, and just seeing that let me know that I was on the right track, and it let me know that I wasn't too far away from those guys, and that I had to just keep working. And even during the tournament, just whether it was the games where I didn't score or I just played defense, I played really good defense, or the games where I had my best games. It just really was really good for me. And then when I went to Spain and I was playing really good, I just the entire process of just my professional career, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the process of the ups and downs that it came with, and it was really big for me to just enjoy it. Whatever lessons that I went through, like I told Jonah, your rookie year, you're going to have a lot of ups and downs. You're going to have games where you don't make a shot. It's about you finding your niche. I went from UNC where I was asked to score 20 points a game. I was asked to, get everybody involved, have the ball in my hand a lot of the game. And then going to the Denver Nuggets, I stood in the corner a lot, I didn't have the ball. I had to be a role player. And even when I went to Spain, I had a ball in my hands a lot more than I was with the Nuggets, but I still had to find a role. I became another role player. So it's about you finding your niche. And some games you might score 20, some games you might score 5, but it's about what do you do with those minutes that you're in a game. So this year, it was just, it was really eye-opening for me. And like I said, I just really just try to take a positive lesson out of everything. And it was really big for me. As far as a life standpoint, I did a lot of traveling. I did a lot of going. So like in Spain, I was 45 minutes from Barcelona. So anytime I had free time, I went to Barcelona. I told Coach Smiley and Coach Luis, I went to different malls. I went to museums. Like when I was in Germany, I went to the remains of the Berlin Wall. I went and hung out with teammates and all that stuff. Like I created memories. Because you're out there by yourself, you don't want to just go out there and just stay in your apartment or just go to practice and then just don't do nothing, stay on the game. You want to enjoy those times, especially because you're across the world. Like you want to create memories. So I definitely enjoyed those times. And whenever I could, I would try to fly out family. But I definitely enjoyed my time overseas. I appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, and I know a lot of fans are excited to see what's next. Jordan, we got about a minute before we jump over to our next guest. What's next for you? Can you update us quickly on that?
Germany is in the process of starting the league back up. I might go back and play. It's just about negotiating my contract. Or I'm in the process. I do have some interest in Israel. I might go to Israel and play. It just depends whether it's financially worth it. But right now, I'm just enjoying my time back home with my family and my daughter.
Jordan, we wish you the best of luck, man. Thank you so much for joining us today, man. Appreciate you as always.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
All right, Jordan Davis, great player, outstanding player. I think making the University of Northern Colorado very proud. Another guy that's on the watch list right now, just another sensational player. I kind of pitted all these players up against each other with the poll question I did yesterday. So we've been having some fun. Who's the better basketball player? But I think either one of these guys might tell you that he is. But then again, Jonah Radabah, you're the humble guy, man. I brag on you all the time, and you just laugh it off. You're like, dude, I'm not that, but you're an amazing basketball player, man. So I'm excited to see what you can do.
Thank you. I'm just doing my job. You know me, just doing my job.
I love it. Hey, so you're doing your job. You're doing it pretty well. Talk about this agency that you signed with, because there's some pretty big names on this list, and not a lot of Big Sky Conference basketball players sign on with an agency like this.
Yeah, so I signed with Octagon. They're like some of you might know, they have players like Giannis Antetokounmpo and Stephen Curry, and me and JD actually have the same agent now. So it's the same agency that JD signed with. So it was kind of a familiar face, and it's a bigger agency that has a lot of people working for it, so they can do so many different things with all of the people that they have there. So it just seemed like the perfect fit for me and the best opportunity I would have going forward when I play next year, wherever I end up going. I feel like they would give me the best chance at being at a place that's right for me. So I signed with them. They're pretty big name, like you said. Yeah. So I was super excited when they reached out to me, and I'm there with them now. So just waiting on a call or whatever happens next, kind of just like all of us, we're just waiting now. So we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, certainly interesting times. But Octagon, they represent a lot of great players. They're typically not going to sign up with a player if they don't believe they're going to do something pretty special. So I know that's something that's got to be exciting for you. Tough for you guys, man. It was such a wonderful season, getting into that Big Sky Conference tournament, knowing what was next for you, and then what? You guys are in shoot around. We hear the news, it's over for everybody. So difficult for everybody. But man, you talk about the seniors that are looking to go out with a bang. That one had to be a tough one to take.
Yeah, it was definitely hard for us, because we all felt like we were moving in the right direction, just getting better and better as the season went on. And they say you got to play your best basketball when that conference tournament comes around, and I felt like we were playing as high level as we possibly could. at that time. And then to have it canceled right before we were supposed to play, it kind of, like, for lack of a better term, it kind of just sucks for all of us. So, I mean, I kind of, after that, you kind of just have to learn to deal with it because there's not much you can do. So I kind of tried to move on and just move on to the next thing. And it kind of turned out to just honestly be a little bit of a blessing in disguise, because like some of you might know, I was student teaching this semester as well. So it was really hard to juggle being at a school for 8 hours a day and then running to practice after that and doing film and lifting and doing all that stuff all at the same time. It was really a big challenge for me this year. And once the season got canceled, school got canceled too. So I went from 15-hour days to a couple meetings in the morning for class, and then that was it. So, it made my path to graduation a little bit easier, but it's the one thing that we play for all year is a chance to go to March Madness, and to have the whole thing get taken from us, it was really rough. But at this point, like, what can you do? You kind of just have to move on and learn to deal with it. So.
Yeah. Well, and I know you love your university too. How much is, everything that you've been through with this university, the games but being on campus, the school, I mean, how much do you think that's going to impact you going forward? Because like you said, you got some big decisions, some big things coming up for you.
Yeah. I mean, I love being at UNC I've been here for a long time. I've been here for 5 years. So, I've loved every part of it, from my redshirt year to this past season. Just everything that all the people in this call have done for the team, especially just you guys have been such a big help for all of us. And, whether it's just funding or support or anything like that, like, we can't do anything without all of you here. So, you guys have all been a real big piece to what we do. So I just want to say thank you to all of you for that. And, like, being at UNC, it's just, the team especially has just felt like a family every single year. So now I have so many guys that I can just call on and just talk to about anything in my life or anything going on. And they're all like brothers to me. So just moving on, I'm glad to have made those relationships and made those brotherhoods with some of those guys. And like Coach Smiley said, like, I went into this agent stuff, like, I didn't really know what was going on. So I was leaning on him for a lot of it, and giving me some advice and helping me talk to some different people. So, just relationships like that, just that really go a long way past the basketball court, like into like my actual life, like real life decisions. And I needed somebody like that to help me out for things that I can be honest and don't know a lot about. So, stuff like that is stuff that I'll take with me probably for the rest of my life. I know I can, me and JD talk almost every other day. And, I have some other guys too that I talk to pretty frequently. So that stuff has been huge for me, and I'll probably take that with me.
That's awesome. Jonah, I have another one of those basketballs. Things ended so quickly. I got to have you sign one of these at some point. So when can we figure that out? Hopefully very soon.
We'll make it happen. Just make sure you get me before I leave. We'll make it happen.
I appreciate you. Jonah, man, thank you so much. I think all of us just want to wish you the best of luck, my friend. And we'll do our best to stay in touch. We'd love to hear more from you.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Thank you.
Jonah Radabaugh, sensational player. Again, I did a poll on this with all these players, and I think Coach Smiley did the best thing. He said, hey, I'd take any one of those guys. Yeah, you say the right thing. I mean, it was a fun debate yesterday. Another guy on that list, a current basketball player for the University of Northern Colorado, Bodie Hume. Bodie, are you out there, my friend? Are you out there in this world of Zoom?
Yeah, absolutely.
How are you, my friend? Good to catch up with you again.
Yep, doing great.
Man, I talked to you a little bit about this on my radio show a few weeks back, but I think, I'm assuming everybody listens, but you never know. A few people might not. I asked you, what are you doing to stay in shape, to stay with it, to stay sharp, to keep working on your game?
Well, it's definitely interesting. It's a whole new experience for me, especially even from Sterling. I grew up playing in dirt with a basketball hoop, basically. So that's definitely something different. But yeah, so now me basically being up in Greeley the whole time, I run around campus a lot, do some ab workouts. I got some dumbbells here that are nice to do. And then on 34, there's that dealership Drive Emotion. There's this little charge back behind it that has a basketball court or a basketball hoop next to it that I can go and shoot at. So that's kind of kind of nice, and that's where everything's going for me. I see Jonah at the Verge shooting hoops every so often. I haven't gone with him yet, but definitely maybe in the future that'll happen.
I'm still waiting on that ab workout list that you're going to send me. I haven't been able to work on my abs. Just waiting for the list. So until I have the list, these abs are going to stay flabby. So just that's on you at this point, right, man? Gotcha. Bodie, some sensational players have been on this. We talked to two of them, Jonah, Jordan Davis, and obviously yourself. You're one of those great players. Going into next season, do you feel – obviously there's crazy stuff going on, so there's pressure there. But do you feel any extra sense of pressure going in, knowing, all right, I got to continue to be a great player, but – to progress, to do, to make those guys proud of me as well?
First off, it's definitely an honor to be on the list with JD and Jonah and Andre Spite, especially since I still have 2 years left here. That's great in the beginning. But for me, last season, I didn't know what to expect going into it from a leadership standpoint and where I was going to fit it on a team. I think early on, like in our scrimmages and our practices, we were going to depend on me scoring every once in a while, and to have the opportunity to have Jonah help me out with assists as well as points was great. And so for next year, we got some guys that can really score the ball, and we got some guys that can really pass the ball. So we're going to be able to replace Jonah, not with one guy, but with a few guys. So that's what I'm excited for.
Yeah. You guys have such a great relationship, and I'm sure that's something that will carry on. Bodie, appreciate you, man. I can't wait till next season. And, I'll give you my email address later so you can send me that ab workout. Right. We'll get after it and finally start to get into shape. So, all right my friend. Great. Bodie, appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Bodie Hume, sensational player. Looking forward to see what he can do. Coach, talking to all these guys, alumni successes, guys that we're getting ready to see what that success looks like, and then a current guy like Bodie Hume. I mean, this program has been so great, especially over these last 4 years. It's exciting to see what you and your staff can do.
Well, that's the goal, Brady. I'm first of all proud that we actually kept this almost within the time frame, because I thought that just me rambling on would be a major issue. But the goal is this. I mean, the goal is that right now, we've turned this program, and it's been a lot of time from so many people. We've turned this into a top 100 program in the country. And, right now, we finished the year ranked exactly 100 in the college net, by far the highest Big Sky school. I think Montana and Eastern Washington were in the 120, 130 range, and then it just goes, well beyond that. There's 353 Division I teams in the country. So when you talk about being top 100, I mean, that's pretty high territory. So our goal is to not take a step back. And, it starts with the players. Obviously guys like Jordan Davis and Jonah. It's just fun to see the progression of, from JD to Jonah to a guy like Bodie and so on and so forth. That's the biggest thing, is that, good players make good coaches. It's not rocket science that way. And I can't wait. What's so frustrating for us is we just can't get to work with these guys right now. We're doing the best we can in the Zoom world and the Corona world, but that's the most frustrating thing, is that you want to get out there and work with your guys and get better. And that's kind of the culture we've had here, is a culture of working hard and putting in that sweat equity. So, and that's the staff that we have as well. So yeah, it's really fun to watch these guys and hear them talk in different stages of their life. Jordan Davis, when he played in the summer league, he called me. I was actually out there with my family to watch him play. And he said, "Coach, get here to the hotel in the next 10 minutes and you guys can meet Michael Porter Jr. and Bull and all those guys." And that's the type of guy JD is. We got there. Now I've got a picture up in the basement, or a big poster of, Michael Porter Jr. with my son and daughter, and Bull and JD and my son and daughter. My daughter's confused because Bull is about 7'5". She doesn't know what's going on. But that's the type of kid he is, and just all the way through. So it's really exciting. Really exciting stuff, Brady.
Yeah, well, you said great players make great coaches. All three of those guys we talked to make for great radio interviews. It's been an honor to talk to these guys over the years too. So I'm thrilled, and we're thrilled to continue to hopefully follow along in their careers as well. I want to get to some questions, maybe if we can, but again, I think it's important to reiterate what this was all about today, and it's Roundball. It's this virtual happy hour has been fantastic. Hopefully we can do a lot more of these, and maybe in person someday soon, hopefully. But at the end of the day, all these donors, tremendous amount of respect for all that you do in our communities, but in really giving back and helping out this program grow, because I'm telling you, as a diehard sports fan, this program is something truly special.
Absolutely. Now, I want to thank everyone, too, as we get to the questions. If you guys have time, I'll stay on here as long as we need to stay on here for sure. And then I also put on the chat my email address. If you have questions and we run out of time, email me questions, too. I'll get all those answered. But, yeah, like Brady said, I mean, just, your guys' support it's astronomical. And we want to do a better job on our end, on my end as a coach, to continue to do things like this and in person and give back to you as well, so that you feel like, that you're a big part of this. And so we're really excited for that part of the future for everybody. So, Jenny Shoup, I see you on the call too, in terms of kind of the basics of the Roundball. Is there anything you want to hop into before we get into the questions? I hate to put you on the spot, but.
No, it's totally fine. Hi, everyone. It's great to see you. Thanks again for joining us today. Your support as coach, and Brady and everyone has said, is absolutely crucial to this program. We would not be able to have the success that we do without you. So thank you all very much. We will continue to be in touch with you, about Roundball and this upcoming year. I don't know if coach is planning to or talk about the schedule for this coming year. I think there'll likely probably be less games. And so, your support both in the Roundball Club and also attending games is more crucial than ever. So, you can always learn more about the Roundball Club on the website. You can find that on uncbears.com or on the UNC Give website too. So thank you all so very much for attending and for all that you do for UNC and our student athletes.
Yeah, do you want me to go through and kind of just read a few here? I'll fire them at you.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Let's get to we had one earlier from Josh. He kind of said, can you discuss who will not be back? Well, one of those guys we talked to moments ago with Jonah too. So obviously that's a challenge every year, is replacing great players like Jonah.
Yeah, so I mean, 3 seniors graduating. Jonah Radabaugh, who I think if we would have beaten Eastern Washington one of those 2 times, he would have been the Big Sky MVP. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Jonah's a great player. You can't just replace him with one guy. Like Bodie actually said, which was a good answer, Bodie, that it's not just one guy replacing him. It's going to be a lot of guys. And then Trent Harris, who graduated. Trent Harris, who, was the best shooter in the Big Sky. Most made threes and the best percentage. So you're losing the best shooter in the Big Sky. I think that's a guy like where Greg Bowie is going to come in and really help out with that. And then Kai Edwards, the picture of Kai Edwards' family. Kai just signed with an agency in Spain. So Kai's going to be a professional basketball player as well. And so that's where, in terms of those 3 guys, kind of the main guys we lost, that's where, Akur Jakuch, now he's going to have to take a step and he's going to have to play as opposed to 15 to 20 minutes, 23 minutes. He's going to have to play 30 minutes because that's where he's at now. He's ready to do that. And guys like Bodie, Bodie and I have had a lot of talks. Bodie's going to take the next step. That's the goal for him as well. So we lost 3 really good players. And every year in college, you're going to lose a few guys here and there. So those are the 3 main ones.
President Feinstein asked earlier, from what, on the player side of it, how are players keeping busy? I mean, again, these are all new things that we're asked to do. And you talked earlier, you and I off camera, off Zoom, about the different strategies that these players will have as far as even just simple workouts.
Well, they're all in such different situations. Our guys that are from California, like a Rod McCobb, they just got 3 more months stay at home. And so he can't go to the gym. There is no gym for Rod. So some of our guys, they can't go to the park because the rims and the hoops have been literally taken down. But other guys, they can get to the gym and they got a trainer. And so it's kind of guy by guy. But, our current strength coach, Jeff Butler, has done a great job. He sends out the strength programs. There's 2 programs. There's the at-home body weight. You don't have any weights at all. Here's our body weight program, just keep you going. Or if you have weights, here's our traditional program. So, things like that can kind of keep them through. We're looking at our timing in terms of when we can start doing our 8 weeks of summer workouts, but we'll kind of stretch that out as long as we can to the back end of the summer so that we can maybe get a chance to work with them or at least kind of hold out some hope. But right now, each guy, we're doing a lot of film work with guys. And then really it's kind of on them in terms of how much they can get to the gym, if they even can get to the gym, because they're all in such different situations.
Yeah. Got another one here for you, Coach. What do you see as the strengths of this 2020 team? Obviously, a lot of questions still to be ironed out, but initially looking at those key strengths for you going forward.
Well, I think experience. I mean, obviously, we lose 3 really good players in Jonah, Trent, and Kai, but at the same point in time, we have 4 guys back that started that were just sophomores. Bodie, Sam Maston until he broke his hand. Matt Johnson, and Coor. Those are 4 starters. So for the first time, we've talked to those guys about those guys is the nucleus. Now they can be, juniors and eventually seniors. They're finally on the upper end of the age spectrum. They're not the young guys. They're not the weak guys. Now they've made that jump to be an upperclassman. So I think experience, and then I do think depth. And that's where we need to get our guys together, and we need to, do our workouts whenever we're allowed to. But I do think this is a team that's going to have a lot of depth, a lot of interchangeable parts, a lot of players that can play different positions. So we're really excited about that.
And then a follow-up question there, just asking to talk about your leadership style. I mean, we see a lot of different styles when we're looking at the coaching world. If you could do that, if you could give us that, what does that look like?
When I got my first head job at Sheridan College, the job before that was with Don Meyer. And if people know Don Meyer since he's a UNC alum, he's crazy. And he's one of the toughest coaches probably in the history of basketball. He's Bob Knight without the cursing, but everything else. I mean, he punched me in the stomach in the middle of a game with 5,000 people in the arena. And I can't remember if Coach Reed was on that team or not, but that's a true story. So when I got my first head job, I couldn't be Don Meyer. That's not who I am. All I could be is the best version of me. So in terms of my style, it's going to look a little different than what we saw in the last 4 years. I kind of coach and teach in a different way. But I think for me, knowing what my strengths and weaknesses are as a head coach, that's where I have to bring in good assistants and a good staff. And that's where, if I need Coach Reed to be a pit bull, he's going to be a pit bull. And I think that's the biggest thing is that you've got to know who you are and who you aren't, what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are, and then build your staff around that. So leadership style, I think it's pretty positive. At the same point in time, head coaching junior college for 6 years, there's times where you got to put the hammer down, and that's not something that's hard to do. But having kids like a Bodie Hume or Jonah, you don't have to get on those guys, man. They're self-motivated. It really comes down to recruiting the right types of kids that really want to be not only good players but good teammates and win. And then it's pretty easy.
If you guys have any more questions, go ahead and put them into the chat box. Am I missing anything? We've kind of run down these here, a lot of comments for sure, but I think we got to some of those meaty questions for sure.
Yeah, like I said, if you have other questions, feel free. Now, I see in the chat here, it's steve.smiley, steve.smiley@unco.edu. Feel free to, I'd love to connect with you guys. Email me, call me. I think it's really important, for us to really be, connected into our community and connected into this group. And I would just say, again, I can't say enough about how excited I am. This is where I'm from. I'm a Colorado guy. And for me, this is really a dream job. And to be surrounded by the staff I'm surrounded with, the players that are here, and just the community. I mean, yesterday I had so much fun. Just like I said, I'm a bad golfer, but had so much fun golfing with eight of the booster and Roundball members, and I probably slowed them down a lot. But we had a good time, and I just think it's very important, for us as a staff to really get out there and do a lot of community service. I popped on 2 different Rotary groups, in the last couple of weeks on Zooms. One was at like 7 in the morning with the Red Eye Rotary. That was brutal, but we had a good time with it. Neil Kingman and his Rotary group. So, if there's ideas you have for myself and for our staff as well that we can help out with your groups, please let us know. We want to be part of this, and we're all facing challenges right now with the virus and what that's doing to our economy and to our budgets and stuff. So if there's ways we can help out, please let us know. We're happy to help out. And again, just, one last time, thank you so much for what you guys are doing. When we look at, and as I get more in depth into learning how this works from a budget perspective, it flatters me and it shocks me how much the Roundball already is doing. It's amazing the amount of support that we have behind the scenes, and the normal traditional fan has no idea how much support we really have here. And that's what we want to do, is continue that. We want to grow it. We want to get, the stands packed. If the social distancing allows us to, we want to have a packed arena at some point in time in the future, and just keep this thing going in the same direction that it's been going over the past 4 years. So thank you for all that you do as well.
And again, thank you all. I appreciate this. Looking forward to getting to know all of you a little bit more. And I got to say this about Coach Smiley. Coach, it's been great. You're so energetic. You're so excited about this program, but also this community. And I think that's very important to get out throughout to this Northern Colorado community, this Greeley community. And I think it's going to be very exciting. I'm looking forward to a lot. I need more sports topics, by the way. So fire off some poll questions for me later on, Coach. We'll get those up there and get some UNC chat going.
Sounds good.
Folks, thanks again. We'll sign off then, I guess. This has been our first Zoom Roundball happy hour. This has been a lot of fun, so thank you all. And again, check those emails out in your chat box, and you can email Coach Smiley more questions. Thank you all again. Have a wonderful night.
Thanks, everybody.